There you go. Just
So, welcome to my first ever, I guess it'd be a vlog. I've never done anything like this, so I thought now was a really good time to kind of share my journey. Just introduce myself. I'm 41 years old. I am getting ready for my second lumbar fusion surgery. I had my first in my 20s. And this time's a little bit different around. I'm about 80 pounds heavier than I was when I had my last one in my 20s. Older, obviously, but still the same old me, positive. And I just thought it would be good, you know, as I started this journey again, I was just looking for, you know, stories to kind of follow, to see people who are older going, you know, getting surgeries that were a little more debilitating and how they felt. And I couldn't really find a lot of vlogs out there. So I just decided this is the time for me to start mine. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I have my beautiful cousin Brianna here. And she's gonna just to be like an interview vlog.
yeah. Okay, so you kind of hit your age, but why don't you say like where you live and about your family?
Okay, let me give you a brief synopsis. I live in the Cayman Islands. I moved there when I was about 8 years old. I have 3 beautiful daughters. My oldest is 25. Yeah, you guys are probably trying to do the math. I was young. My middle one is 19, and then, you know, I just decided that, you know, I just wanted to keep going and never relax. So I have a 3-year-old. So that's where I'm at. I'm mom of 3 girls.
And so what caused your first spinal fusion, and how old are you?
Let's see. So when I first started experiencing back problems, I think I was a teenager, and I you know, just had like kind of the normal little, like I thought it was growing pains, as everybody kind of says, you know, it's just growing pains. As I mentioned, I had my first daughter. I got pregnant when I was 16 years old. I was actually anorexic at the time when I got pregnant, and I was probably 85 pounds. So, you know, I kind of go back to that instance to say, you know, was that kind of a factor on it? During that course of the pregnancy, they pretty much told me that if I didn't start feeding myself, then, you know, the baby would take everything. So long story short, I gained about 90 pounds. I went from being about 85 pounds to maybe even 184 pounds, I think it was, when I had her. I think that put a lot of immediate strain on my back. You know, over those couple of years, you know, I was younger, I was able to, you know, still do things. You know, if I had a little couple of back pains, I kind of just ignored it. I kind of just thought, hey, you know, I lost some of the weight. Then I got pregnant again for the second time when I was 22, and that is really when my body just felt it. So during that pregnancy, I had sciatica that was excruciating. I mean, it was to the point of where, oh, I almost feel like crying thinking about it, but to the last probably 8 weeks of my pregnancy, I couldn't even get out of bed. I mean, it was just excruciating down the right side. So I knew at that point something was not right. Sure enough, afterwards, they saw that my L5-S1 was slowly collapsing. You know, I did some x-rays, I did some MRIs, and they said that I had degenerative disc disease. That it was a hereditary disorder, and you know, it's something that just, you know, kind of runs in the family. And this is where I go back to, you know, why did it happen so soon? So over the next, let's see, I had her when I was 22, and I had surgery when I was about 26. So over the next couple of years, you know, I did physio and, you know, all of these things to just try and strengthen up my core muscles and everything else, to the point, you know, try and avoid surgery. And it just got to the point of where I couldn't walk. I had 2 small children that I needed to take care of, and it was just, I had no other way out but to have the surgery. So I had the surgery in 2006. You know, the recovery was rough, to say the least, but I think I've kind of spaced out a lot of the recovery, because once I recovered, I mean, my life was, I was functionable. Like, I was a young mom. I felt amazing. I was able to do all of those things that, you know, a 26-year-old mom would be able to do. And it, you know, I did for a really, really long time. Fast forward a little bit now to probably about 2015. I started again feeling some back pain, and you know, they did warn me that, you know, there would be a chance that I would have a slippage at the L4, L5, over time. So we did some x-rays. It was still looking okay. Same thing, let's do PT, let's not have to do another surgery. 2017, I ended up getting pregnant. I'll never forget the first thing my mother said to me. I was sitting there with her. She's like, "What about your back?" And at that moment, I just, I said, well, what about my back? I mean, I'm at the point, I'm pregnant. God has blessed me with, another child, and let's just, go forward with it and see what happens. That is when things just started to kind of go downhill. Once I had my little one, Aliana, it started to get the more sciatica, and I started to really start to feel the pains, and it got to the point of where I was trying to do a lot of things to make it feel better. I fast forward again, then COVID came. I ended up putting on probably 30 pounds during COVID, just stress and whatnot, and I'm sure an extra 30 pounds on top of already being 50 pounds overweight from my pregnancy did not help my back situation. So finally in July of this year, I mean, it was to the point of where I was having a difficulty time walking again, which also meant a difficulty time exercising, just a difficult, my quality of life was not good, and I have a 3-year-old. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck? So I ended up getting a MRI beginning of September, and the MRI showed that it was, barely hanging on there, but it was slipping. And, the doctor said, let's have a chat about this. Before we had the chat about it, a car barely hit me. I mean, driving on my side, maybe going 20 miles an hour around a roundabout. I mean, just barely hit the front of me. You would think that it was just a tiny fender bender. I mean, pain after that. I mean, the whole right side of me was in like dire pain. I mean, something was just not right. That happened on the Sunday. The Tuesday I got the x-rays, and you could see that the L4 had just totally slipped forward and was just on nerves. So that's kind of where my journey is at now. I've been lucky enough to come up and they have let me know that surgery is the way forward right now.
And so what is your mindset and your focus leading up to your surgery?
My mindset 100% is trying to stay positive, right? Because I think that in this day and age period, with anything that we're going through, positivity and positive thoughts help us to get out of bed each day, right? Also, I will say that God is a extremely huge factor in my life. I feel that if I did not have God, I wouldn't even be where I am right now. When all this happened to me, everybody says, oh, we're going to pray for you. I mean, obviously, God heard every single prayer, because everything has just fallen into place. And so, for me in my own journey, it's positivity, but I would say God is absolutely the number one factor up there.
Mm-hmm. And what do you hope people take away from your YouTube channel and your story?
I hope that people just take away that we're all humans. We all are experiencing some different challenge in our life. I mean, not everybody's going to be having back problems. I mean, others, are experiencing a lot of other journeys. And I think in mine is just,
being
God, that's a
positive.
good question. Yeah, think positive, have positive thoughts. Just keep going, right? I mean, when you feel like you're just at the bottom, just keep going. I think that's probably what I would say.
Wow. That was good.
Yeah, that's my first one. I probably talked way too much, but I hope you guys have continued listening all the way through. And I promise you, I will get real and deep and interesting and blogs and just, the real stuff, right? Like the real nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah.
So.